Alright everybody, yet again this was a very highly requested video and I'm excited to record it for you all because what we're going to be talking about is what I would like the national team to look like going into the Asian Cup and going into this new 2030 World Cup cycle. I know it's crazy to already talk about the 2030 World Cup when the 2026 World Cup just finished for Iran, but with the Asian Cup less than 6 months away, we already got to start planning these things because this is the only other major tournament that we have from then to the 2030 World Cup. So we want to make the most out of it. So for this video, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to talk about what players from the 2026 World Cup squad should continue on into the Asian Cup and maybe into the 2030 World Cup cycle as leaders that will be slowly but surely taking lesser and lesser roles for the national team, and what youngsters should start being implemented into this national team. And I know there's a whole bunch of youngsters that I might forget, might not mention in this video. So throughout it, let me know any other Iranian youngsters that I should have out on my radar, and maybe we do a part 2. But before we get into it, boys and girls, if you're new to the channel and are a big fan of Asian football, but more specifically the Iranian national team going into the 2027 Asian Cup, make sure to subscribe because this is the channel that you need to be at as we're on the road to 7,000 subscribers before that tournament starts. And I know with your guys' help, we can reach that goal. And let's try to get over 200 likes on this video to hopefully see these young, talented Iranian footballers get implemented into the national team. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. So first, to get started, which players from the 2026 World Cup squad would I keep going into the Asian Cup in this new World Cup cycle? And I know for a lot of you and even myself, it's going to be very heartbreaking to see how many players I don't want to see for the national team anymore because this was the team that I grew up watching. But the reality is we are long overdue for a rebuild for this national team. And because we didn't get that started, we do have to have a little bit more of a harder push and emphasis. I'm not saying make all the old heads kick rocks.
You go kick rocks, you go kick rocks, you go over there.
Nothing like that, but we need a little bit of a healthy balance with a little bit more of a stronger emphasis on younger players being a part of this team. And when I even talk about younger players, some of the guys I'm talking about are around that like maybe 24 to 26 age range. But when you have the oldest squad at the World Cup, that seems like a child in our eyes. So the only players that I would keep from Iran's 2026 World Cup squad is Ramin Rezaeian, Saeid Ezatolahi, Mohammad Mohebi, Mehdi Taremi, and Dennis Eckert Dargahi. Yeah, I know. Only 5 players made it. I know this might be really harsh, but these are the only players that I'd want to see for this national team moving forward. Ramin Rezaeian had a fantastic World Cup, and I know he's going to be nearly 40 years old going into the next World Cup. But at least for this Asian Cup, if you implement younger players, he's definitely a guy with the form that he is in, should at least be a part of that and help at least transition piece by piece, you know, as time goes on for these players. I think he would be a great leader, a player that a lot of these youngsters should look up to, honestly, because even at his age, he was breaking records at this World Cup. That's the type of mentality we want to see because we don't see that with many of our footballers anymore. They all become fat, start eating their kubi dip, become really lazy, but Rezaeian, man, he's just a different breed. He's just got that dog in him. So at least for this Asian Cup, I would definitely still have him in there. I don't know, and I don't think he's gonna be able to make it to the next World Cup. Ezatolahi, he's only 29, so he'll probably be around 30. He most definitely should still be there. It'll probably be his last World Cup. I don't think he should play a big role going into this next World Cup cycle, but like a guy like Shojaei or Ansari Fard at the 2018 World Cup, 2022 World Cup, he could still be a part of the mix, but he shouldn't get a lot of minutes. Mohammad Mohebi, he's not old, but he's not young. He's around 27 years old. He most definitely should still be here. But I do think out of all the positions, our wingers is the quite interesting point of conversation because I think we have a lot of good wingers, and Mohebi should be a part of that mix, but I don't think it's going to be as easy for him to retain his position. But unlike many other players that have played for the national team, he has a World Cup goal. Now with the experience of an Asian Cup, a World Cup, he probably should still be in that 2030 World Cup cycle. And if he keeps trying to develop himself in his career, rumors that he might be going to RB Salzburg, he stays in Europe, that's the type of guy I want in my team. Taremi, yeah, he might not make it to the 2030 World Cup, but he is the most experienced guy on our team. He is a leader. He is a player that anyone across Asia should look up to. The biggest thing here is he needs to take a lesser role. He should still make cameos here and there. He should be a locker room guy, because I know for a fact if I was in the locker room, Taremi's talking to me, I'm a forward, I'd be mesmerized. You definitely got to keep him in the mix. He is a top leader. He's got a top mentality that he could bestow upon the younger players. Out of all the players, he is my number one that needs to be in the mix. And then finally, Dennis Eckert Dargahi. We didn't get a chance to see him play at all at this World Cup, and he is 29 years old. It kind of depends on what you want to do with Sardar Azmoun. But I really think Azmoun is on the decline. He doesn't play in Europe anymore. He's dealing with so many injuries now with Shabab Ahli. And I know this might be a crazy way to compare it, but if Eckert gets like 10 to 15 goals in Europe, and if Azmoun gets like 30 plus goals in the UAE, I'd still take Eckert. A guy that plays in Europe, has that type of skill set, has that type of play style, I think would benefit us in the long run a lot more. I think we should honestly give him a proper go as like a third string option at the Asian Cup. If you want to bring in Azmoun, sure, but I just don't think Azmoun should really be a part of this team anymore going forward. Unless he goes back to Europe, that's the only reason I'd allow Azmoun to come back. But the biggest emphasis for me is I want younger players to finally get given the chance. And if we're going to still play Taremi Azmoun, when is it going to happen? Now for the younger players, I've picked a couple in a variety of positions. We're going to start from goalkeeper all the way up to forward. So starting off with goalkeepers, I have Mohamed Khalifa and Arsha Shakuri. I mean, Khalifa and Shakuri are like the new shining babies in the goalkeeping position, and I'm so excited to see how they play for the national team, because both of them have been absolute studs at youth level. Khalifa was a part of the preliminary World Cup squad and was still able to stay with the team if any injuries happened. He was still there with them at the camp, so I thought that was decent, but honestly I think he should have been given that third goalkeeper spot over Niazmand. And Shakuri, he reminds me a lot of Emi Martinez. He is such a character. He seems like such a stud, and he's an absolute dog in penalty shootouts. These two guys are the future for us in the goalkeeping position, and they need to be given the opportunity to start fighting for the first spot for Team Melli. I'm sorry, but Hossein Hosseini, Peyman Niazmand, Baron Vaunt, they're all over 30. You can keep one of them, and I don't care which one it is. It probably should be Baron Vaunt because he's been the starting goalkeeper for this whole time. But these guys need to actually start getting starting minutes for this national team. And then for outside backs, I have Hossein Goudarzi, Bahram Goudarzi, Aria Yousefi, and Seyed Mahdavi. When it comes to the Goudarzis, they're both left backs, but they're not related whatsoever. But they are very similar, I will say. Both very young, talented, upcoming left backs in the PGPL, very solid defenders, good going forward. And with Hossein Goudarzi in particular, he's got a killer left foot when it comes to crossing, shooting. He has scored bangers in the PGPL. He's the one guy that I'm very bullish about. If you watch the previous videos leading into the 2026 World Cup, I thought he should have been a part of the squad. I know for a fact he would have performed better than Milad Mohammadi because he looked like a chicken with his head cut off, even with all the World Cup experience that he has. Aria Yousefi was a part of the World Cup squad, and I still think can be the right back for years to come. And with Mahdavi, he reminds me a lot of Moharami. So any of these outside backs, give them a go. When it comes to the center backs, I went with Mohammadmehdi Zare, Saman Fallah, and Danial Iri. These are all very good, young, talented center backs that would most definitely pair up with Majid Hosseini, who we didn't even get to see at this World Cup because he got hurt, and on his day is probably our most experienced and best center back for the national team. Imagine pairing him up with any of these three guys, experiment with them, let them get a couple game runs, see who fits better, let them learn from Majid, because guys like Nemati, Khalilzadeh, Kanani, they are done. I don't want to see them play at all for this national team anymore. These three guys, if given proper minutes, proper starts, will easily be better than those three guys. The Three Stooges are done. They got their moment against Belgium. Would not give him a go anymore. And even if Hosseini is injured, which is a very high probability, play the young center backs. Who gives a shit? Our defense is so poo-poo. I know for a fact with these guys, it cannot be any worse. And then for the midfielders, I would have Mohammad Razzaghinia, Mobin Dehghan, Mohammad Ghorbani, and Mohammad Javad Hosseinnejad. I mean, these guys are all super talented that should all be playing and competing in this national team. We did see Razzaghinia and Ghorbani be a part of our our World Cup squad, and even Ghorbani getting a start against Egypt, and I thought he was really good in that game. I believe ran the most from any player on the field that day, which just shows if you play younger guys, you got a lot of work engines. You don't have to rely on these unks that can't run anymore. I was a little surprised we did not see Razzaghinia get any minutes, but at the same time with Qalanoi, should we really be surprised? He is such a regista type midfielder. He killed it in the game against Costa Rica leading into the World Cup. He's really good, really talented. He needs to start playing because I cannot take it anymore with the Qudus, Ezatolahi, no kneecaps midfield. Dehghan is a very interesting youngster to add to this mix, but he has been very good for Iran at youth national team level, plays in the UAE, has been playing quite consistently there. Mohammad Javad Hosseinnejad, I don't know how many more videos I gotta do talking about this guy, but in my opinion, he is the most talented young Iranian footballer right now. It blows my mind, hurts my brain how he did not play a bigger role going into this World Cup cycle, actually being a part of this World Cup squad, and not actually even playing at this World Cup. It kills me so much inside. All these guys are absolute lock-ins. Razzaghinia, Ghorbani, Hosseinnejad, I need to see them in this national team. Next up for the wingers, we got Allahyar Sayyadmanesh, Alireza Koushki, Amirhossein Mahmoudi, and Aria Shafiedoost. Sayyadmanesh, Koushki, we have seen them kind of in the national team mix leading into this World Cup. Should have probably been a part of this World Cup. I know I sound like a broken record. Both really good, direct, tricky wingers that if they played, I already know would have put New Zealand on skates. That really shitty MLS back line would have been cooked. They need to be given a proper go with the national team, and I know they will do really well with the national team. I think Koushki's a little bit of a wild card, but what do we got to lose? Mahmoudi, Shafiedoost, very unknown quantities. Mahmoudi is a lot older than Shafiedoost. He was a part of the preliminary squad, like Khalifa, got the stick around for the World Cup, wasn't registered in our World Cup squad. He's a big time wild card. I don't really know what to think of him. He's kind of sprung on the scene a little bit late, very tricky, pacey. Reminds me a little bit of a Giovinco, if you guys remember him. And Shafiedoost is one of the most talented youngsters right now coming out of the PGPL. It's unfortunate he's had this injury with his ACL, but hopefully he comes back very strong because he does not play like he is 17 years old. He plays so far above his age. Very composed, fantastic dribbler. We have so many talented, aspiring players that can really put players on skates, get people off their seats, and these are the type of players that we need to be seeing play. And finally, moving on to the strikers, I have Reza Ghandipour, Saeid Saharkhizan, Kasra Taheri, and Amirhossein Hosseinzadeh. Hosseinzadeh was a part of this World Cup team. Didn't really get any cameos, which was very frustrating. We saw Moghalu get 3 World Cup games under his belt. Doesn't make any sense. While Saharkhizan only got like 5-minute cameos in games where we desperately needed goals against New Zealand. Belgium went down to 10 men. He was the perfect guy to bring on. Taheri, I am a little bit surprised didn't get the nod over guys like Alipour and Moghalu. Still mind-blowing to me. Saharkhizan, he played a little bit off when he came back to Iran, playing for Istiqlal, but he's definitely found his footing. I really hope he goes back to Europe because he played really well in the Russian league when he was at Orenburg. And Reza Ghandipour, he is the guy that I'm the most bullish about from the young Iranian strikers. He's doing well now in the UAE, and I really hope we see him get in this mix because with all these youngsters, we want to be the catalyst, the springboards, the people to show them off in these big major tournaments to hopefully see them play in Europe. We already saw that there were some rumors that Bahram was linked to Besiktas, Mohebi was linked to RB Salzburg, and these guys are old. I don't know if the rumors are even remotely true, but imagine if we played the youngsters that have so many more years to come in their footballing careers at this World Cup, how much it would have helped them out in their careers. Why do we not advocate and try to help the future of this national team? That's the biggest thing. In these Asian Cups, World Cup qualifiers, play the young players. Let the world see them because nobody's going to be watching the PGPL. They're watching World Cups, Asian Cups, these major tournaments. So why don't we help them and play them? That's how we're going to help the growth of the national team. If these older players are getting these links, true or not true, doesn't really matter, to European clubs, imagine if we let a guy like Sayyadmanesh flourish. He would have probably gone a bigger move or bigger offers instead of going to Lech Poznan. That's what frustrates me because there's so many good players, but we are just handicapping ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot because Amr Qalanoui is just munching on the kubide and not actually using his frontal lobe. No more unks, start playing the youngsters, end of story. That's how I'm gonna conclude this. But as I always say at the end of every single video, boys and girls, my opinion only matters so much. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Let's try to get this video over 200 likes, and maybe Amr Qalanoui, the Football Federation, see this and they're like, you know what, let's listen to Cheyenne and start playing these youngsters that he listed out. And if you're new to the channel and you're a big fan of Asian football, but more specifically the Iranian national team, this is the channel that you need to be at leading into the 2027 Asian Cup. So make sure to subscribe. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't stop watching now, as I have countless other fantastic videos across my channel that you all should watch. So click over here, as the YouTube algorithm specifically recommended this video for you all to watch next, and click over here as I post content weekly on the channel and you don't want to miss it. But boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.